Hello to you all. Welcome back in Decoding Homeopathy. This is Dr. Nitesh Jain. We had seen about advantages of repertory. Now we will see limitations of repertory. Limitations or disadvantages of repertory. This topic can be broken down into three parts. One is limitation of repertory itself. Second is limitation of repertorization. And third is limitation of a repertorian. So at first we see what is the limitation of a repertory. The first and the foremost limitation of a repertory is it shall not be used in cases which gives simillimum clearly. In those type of the cases in which the drug is clearly indicated, the repertory is of no use. Next important point is no repertory is ever complete. We had seen that repertory is indexed to homeopathic materia medica. Now when this is a form of index, it is not at all completed. Just because as the time goes, number of drugs are being proved and also number of drugs are being reproved, and we see that a number of the new symptoms arises which are not included in the repertory. This is the reason repertory is not at all complete. Also, we find the clinical symptoms. Person in his own practice, he finds a number of the clinical symptoms which are also not found in the repertory all the time. So repertory is not at all complete. Next we see that repertory itself has no much information about nosodes, sarcodes, imponderabilia, and so on. These sort of the drugs are not at all mentioned in the repertory as the needed. That is also the reason that repertory has its own drawback. Again, we see that the repertory is having various form of the construction. It is having various sort of arrangement. Even the abbreviation of the drugs are also not standardized. These things also goes into the limitation of a repertory. We had seen that various forms of repertory is having various number of the chapters. Just like Bonning Ocean's therapeutic pocket book contains 7 chapters. Then the Kant's repertory contains 37 chapters. Again, we see that BBCR contains 49 chapters. So the arrangement of the chapters and also the number of chapters varies, which creates a confusion. Likewise, we also see that arrangement of the repertory also varies. Just because repertories are made by one person just to make his work easier. Now, to make his work more simplified, he has already made it in a way in which he finds it to be easy. But then the persons using the same repertory may also find it a bit hard or else tough. So this is also a disadvantage of repertory. Again, we see that number of the drugs which are mentioned in the repertories are also not up to the mark. It requires its addition, and the grades used in the repertories also differ. Just like Lippi's repertory has two grades. Now the Kent repertory has three grades. Synthesis have four grades. BBCR have five grades. Gentry's repertory have the six grades, and the nurse repertory have eight grades. So when the gradation are also different, it also creates much confusion. And the most important portion about the clinical rubrics are those doctors who had made their observation, the references are not well maintained in the repertory. In this way, we see that these are the limitations of the repertory. Now we come to limitation of repertorization. When we talk about limitation of the repertorization, the first and the foremost thing is in repertorization, it do not give us the simillimum directly. Just because at the end of the repertorization we find a group of drugs among which one can be the simillimum, but then it does not give us the simillimum directly. Next, process of the repertorization might seem lengthy for a neophyte, or else the time consuming for a neophyte. So the person skips it. But with the use of the computers in the field of repertory, this has been reduced much. Again, for the process of repertorization, one needs to have the complete grasp over the science and art of using the repertory. If at all there is any sort of the mistake, then repertorization yields no result. If at all any step goes wrong, then we don't find the result which we want from the repertorization. Repertorization also is not helpful in those cases which have obstacles to recovery. In those type of the cases which are having one or the other form of obstacles, it need to be removed as per the concept laid down in organon or else in the chronic diseases. Once the obstacles are removed, only then repertorization is helpful, else it is of no use. These are the basic limitations of repertorization. Now we come to limitation of repertorium. The limitation of the repertorian first and the foremost is his skill and knowledge. Whenever a person is going to use a repertory, then he shall know the complete in and out of the repertory and how to use it up. If at all the person is having some sort of the confusion, then the result won't be fruitful. Again, he shall have good knowledge of his subject, which include allied subject, so that his interpretation is right. If at all symptoms are wrongly interpreted, then repertorization will be of no use, and it can be reduced by increasing the skill and the knowledge of the person who is going to repertorize the case. These are the important limitation of repertorium. In this way, we can see that we are having the limitation of repertory.